Hey, what's up, bitches? Hopefully this is shot in horizontal so that you're there. Today, well, guys, not giving you a walkthrough on everything. I'm not doing the step by step by step. I don't have a videographer. I don't have freaking tripods and shit. I got a fucking cell phone. Send some dibbly doobly magical fingers. At least that's what the ladies say. Anyway, we got a 2015 Chevrolet. This is the 15 or 3500 here, HD, blah blah blah. It's the gasser. As you can see, we got the dashboard assembly out, and you're like, I gotta do a heater core. I gotta do evaporator core. I gotta do something. All right, my something's leaking. Something's not working right. Whatever. And you gotta have the dash out. And this is a daunting job. I want to say it's supposed to be, the heater core is supposed to be, I don't know, like a $1,400 to $1,700 job at a shop. So let's see if we can't save you some money, or something. At least give you some tips on how to do some of this shit yourself. The dashboard assembly. Number one, there's a big boomerang piece across the top. Get that thing out, it's right there. I just set it in the back of this thing. Other than in the very center of it, there's a little plug. You just got to pinch the two sides or just kind of wiggle it, and it comes out pretty easy. That's just for the light sensor for your automatic headlights. And then you pop it off. Now, I couldn't find the correct best tool for doing that. I have one. I have no clue what I did with it right now. So to the point where I'm like, screw this, I ordered a brand new one. Go on the Amazon, type in 4140 tool. It's 4140 tool steel. These are, they look aluminum, they're not, they're steel. And they're like a little metal spoon type thing for getting trim panels out. They're actually meant for aircraft, popping the aluminum panels off of airplanes. They are golden for doing this kind of work, dash work. So get yourself one. They're about $15 shipped if you got an Amazon account or whatever. If you don't have an Amazon account, well, that's your problem. So anyways, you'll find the trucks are set up for a lot of extra stuff that your truck probably doesn't have. This one's got plug there for something, had this plug for went into nothing. It just sat up in here. Whatever, I think right there. But anyway, I digress. To get that panel out, you're going to want to take the two cover things off your pull handles. There's two little covers, and there's two 10mm bolts in there. Pop those out, the whole handle comes right out. These are your panels you're going to pop out of here. And then the pull handle just falls right out. There isn't really anything to unplug up in here. Some vehicles there are, some vehicles there's stuff attached. This one there is nothing. That will give you access to 4 motherfuckers. Now they're going to start real easy. They're 10mm, and you're going to want, ideally, if I can find it here, to crack them loose. I found this would work the best. Long-handled flex head. This flex head is very, very useful for doing this. The middle two, I believe, you mostly have to use the smaller wrench. You can also try a flex head there towards the end. They start coming out real easy, and then the Loctite starts to fuck you. Some fuckery going on there. There's that pink shit. So it starts to bind up real nasty. And there's just 4 of them. They're pretty fucking easy. Ignore the ground on each side till your dash is partly out, and that'll give you way more access. Once they're out, that's where the flex head wrench finally came in clutch on that. There's a few plugs. There's a plug right there, as you can see, with the red to the dash. Some of that's very self-explanatory. You're going to want to go under your dashboard assembly. Now, I pulled the steering column. Pulling the steering column was kind of, well, not fucking fun. Wasn't the worst. I tried undoing the wiring harness here. I hit this freaking thing and I couldn't fucking get him off it. So I was like, okay, piss off. I'm not fucking with this. I had it 90 degrees to the right. It probably should have had it dead straight on, or rotated 180 the other direction to give me better access. There is a nut and bolt down here for the pinch bolt to access that. It's a 15mm and a 13mm bolt. I used a wrench on the backside and a 15mm thing. These are all 15s for the 4 bolts right there. Unplugging all this, I unplugged a few things. Really all you need to unplug is this one, which comes out of the fuse box, or something like that, and this motherfucker, which was the hardest thing, one of the hardest parts of the whole dash to do. To get it out, you had to fish it through, up over this, and it was tight and it did not want to come through. It plugs into this down here. So to get the steering column out, and I'm doing this not out of order, I'm sorry everybody, I apologize. You're gonna pop this little panel off just for easy. You're gonna take out your, actually pop out your little trim piece right here, pop this right out. That's mostly just giving you access to your plugs and whatnot in here. The steering column, there's a panel down below. It's held in place with a couple T15 Torx screws, vertical. You drop those down, detach your hood popping mechanism, which is right here. I found it was easier for me to disconnect the cable out of this first, get that panel off, and then put the cable back into this. And then once this thing is out, you'll see she just goes up into some slots and then forward and clicks and locks into place, to put it back together anyway. So you'll take those, you take the 2 little screws out of the bottom of the dash out. Like I said, they're a couple 15 millimeter, T15. I'm sorry, I missed, but there you go. Little Torxes. You pull that kick panel off. That gives you access to this metal bracket, I believe. I needed a wobble or a universal joint to get the 4 bolts out of that, and then you kind of got to work it in on the one side and down, and you can figure out how to get that out. While I was there, I also took the 13 millimeter to get the support bracket in the dead center. There are 3 bolts that hold it. It's in the center of the dash. You can sort of see right there is the metal thing, and where my fingertip is pointing right there. Give me the tip, only the tip, just for a minute, I promise, honey. 2 bolts go into the top part, 1 goes into the bottom. Get you loose right there. Steering column just has the 4 bolts, and it drops down and slides out completely. Maybe you guys can unplug this thing better than I could, and you drop the steering or all the wiring harness off of this thing. I don't know how you do it, but you got to get that thing out. Once that's out, now you got these side panels off. You're gonna want to unplug this. There's a couple little retainer jobbers somewhere in here. I don't know. Actually, this is a different thing. Never mind. I digress. You know, I've done so fucking much on this thing, and I've just been working like really fast. Disconnect it up here. Is this supposed to go like this? It might. I don't know. You're gonna go into this fuse box. You're gonna pull off the cover, or not fuse box, but power distribution computer thing here, and there are 3 little locking clips, 1 on the left side, 2 on the right hand side, and you unplug these big bolt head connectors right here, and you'll be doing this underneath the dash. So there, right here's a couple 13 millimeter bolts. You're gonna want to do that, and they're on the same side on the other thing. Everything you do right here with the panel and all that stuff, and some of the plugs coming out, you'll be doing the same thing on that side. So I can walk all the way around the truck, but it's a long freaking journey because it's a freaking big long fucking bastard here. Sorry for the cursing. If you don't like the cursing, well, you probably shouldn't have fucking clicked on my free video to watch. I don't make any monetize my shit. I'm just doing this for the hell, for the tits and the pickles, you know. Now this one is a work truck. It does not have a center console. If you have a center stack, you're gonna have to get that out as well. Most of y'all probably doing this job are probably going to be having that. This one doesn't have it, so I can't really speak to that. You don't need to take the radio out. You don't need to take your instrument cluster out. You don't need to take your dash or your airbags or any of this other crap out of here. Okay. To disconnect the linkage to your transmission from your steering column, you will need to pop out this little clip right here. pinch the 2 little tabs on this right here. See, anybody who's done working on cars, you know what the fuck that is. And you just pop this little thing off the little tit, which is real easy. Now, you got your 4 bolts across the top. You got your freaking 4 bolts on the sides. You don't need to mess with these. These are just alignment pins, and they just kind of hold the inner carapace to the metal frame. Now, you're like, I got all this that's undone. All of those are done. You know, there might be still some wiring harnesses that I've forgotten to mention. I apologize. But you're like, why the hell won't it come out? Well, in the classic case of most vehicles, there's always a hidden bolt or two that you're not really fucking aware of. In this case, there's a hidden bolt that you're not aware of. One of them is going to be right here. See, now this plug right here will probably still be up here. And it's right at the butt of that. Straight down, there is a hole. There's another one right to the left of your defrost vent port. Right there, there's another one. They are 2 13mm bolts. I got them both, I want to say, by using, I initially cracked them with the ratchet, and then I just zipped them out with this. I got a wobble on here, but I don't think you need it really with a wobble. I just happen to be using that. You take those 2 vertical bolts out. At that point in time, your dashboard assembly should just somewhat lift up and come out. Right now, ideally, I should have a second person to help me pick this thing up and carry it out that side, flip this up, and I may clean all this crap out of here, flip this thing up, and just put it on the seats. I like leaving them in the vehicle because they don't have to worry about them getting damaged. The seats are soft, you don't scratch nothing, it's real nice. To get the HVAC assembly off, I have not fucking gotten that far yet, so I guess we see what fucking happens there. Let me see if I missed anything. Once the dash is partly out, that's when you unhook your ground. There's one in that corner way over there. There's this one right here. Undo your grounds. Okay, let me make the long journey. Let me see if there's any other panels or... when you're under the dash to get the steering column out, you're going to want to take this little vent out. It's just got one little retainer thing that plugs in. The steering column itself, I think I'm just going to put those plugs back in and put this thing right back together the way it was. This one was missing the 2 screws that hold it together. Somebody had already broken that one. So it didn't do nothing. The center bracket piece that supports everything has these plastic clamshell right here, and they just kind of pretty it up. They just pop out with these little dick pickers. The lower panel, like I said, remember the 2 Torx? That's the only 2 Torx that I've ran into so far. Steering column. Walk around. I gotta fix this light. On this side, one of the hardest things I found, or it wasn't that bad, but it was. As you can see, we took off the little panels here. 2 little 10mm to pop that out. The side panel with the airbag on-off switch. Ignore the switch, you don't need to worry about it. But you got this under piece. It's got sound deadener and all that stuff, and it has 5 screws. These are 7mm. No big deal, real common. That one was a little pain. That one's a little bit of a pain. These ones are super gravy. This thing right here, which is in the far right hand corner, was not so much fun to undo. As you can see, got the big bulkhead connectors that go into this fuse box assembly, because you have a fuse box assembly on both sides. Down on the bottom, there is a couple of small bulkhead connectors you got to undo. I'm not going to get into the aspects of every single one of those things. On these, there's a little red clip you got to pull down and then push this whole piece. It's real easy to see now. See how it pushes in? It does not push in as easy with the purple lever on it. There's one of those on the other side. You got to dick with both of them. Up top here, we got ourselves our just the antenna. Got our ground here. There's another ground strap somewhere. It fell down in there, but there's this side has two ground straps, one for the HVAC unit and one for the dash assembly. And as you can see, we are completely disconnected all the way. Other than picking this bad boy up out of here, she's done. And that gives you access to your HVAC suitcase. Removing that from the dash, well, I haven't gotten that far yet. I just thought I would give you all some tips and tricks and whatever, give you an idea what you're getting into. It is, in my world, 10:30. I started this, and I've been dicking around. I mean, I've took about fucking 15 phone calls, well, not that many, about 3 or 4 phone calls anyway. Bunch of phone calls, whole bunch of text messages, scrolling around, watch YouTube videos. There is no YouTube video as of the posting of this that is available for the dashboard removal on this vehicle or this era of vehicles. There are people who remove the dash and that they're changing this part where they take out all the little screws and they leave the main thing in. They're switching to, I want leather, I want the fake leather with the stitching, blah blah blah, whatever. That's all those Denali wannabes. This one's repair wannabe. If you're doing the heater core, you get the fun process of getting those hoses off and, you know, getting them off. You know, that's always fun. I'm pretty sure there's just probably about 5 or 6 through the firewall screws that go that way. You gotta evacuate, vent out, or don't vent out your thing. You gotta safely collect all of your refrigerant and your coolant. Now you're not gonna lose very much coolant on this job, so you can just top it off with a little bit of whatever. Should take the orange stuff. Getting those heater hoses off, those can be a motherfucker. You may actually be better served just cutting the rubber hose, pulling it further, or replacing your heater hoses if you're, because those fittings are probably going to crack and break. I don't know that's the case, but I have a feeling. I'm hoping that there isn't any screws behind the freaking intake on this thing, because if there is, and I can't access them, intake will probably have to freaking come off. Again, I've never done heater core on one of these Aero trucks, so maybe it's gravy, maybe it's hard. So far, I think it'll take me an hour at the most to get that suitcase out. At the very most, maybe 15 minutes. But I think probably half an hour to 45 minutes to have that thing out from here. And then take it apart, get your heater core. I recommend replace your expansion valve and your evaporator core while you're there. It's not that much more fucking work. It's not that much more money. Do it. You're already there. Don't dick around. And this will also give you access if you want to put a fresh door motor for the recirculation system. You are not going to be able to access that without the dash out. So, you know, I suggest go to the dealership, buy an actual OEM one or whatever, but you cannot get this thing out at a future date without pulling the dash. So if you're going to be going this far for a cheap part, do it for your own future self. I believe the same could also be argued for up here for the blend door. I don't know, maybe you can access that through the radio. I've never had to. I did replace the mode thing on this truck, I don't know, a year ago. So should apply to any, I don't know, 14s, 15s, 13s, 14s, 15s to 18s. But don't hold me to that. Peace out, bitches. What's up, bitches? Round 2 or whatever the hell. Maybe I'll stitch this video to the other one. Maybe I'll upload it all by itself. We're doing a heater core. This would apply to the evaporator as well. So if you want to do that, you can. Or some of your blend door actuators, because 1 or 2 of them are a motherfucker. If you had to get this one out right here at for a recirculator, you're not getting that fucker out and you're not getting a new one in. I don't care what you better be built like a snake, and I am, but still would have trouble. So you're like, how do I get this suitcase out of here? Well, if you watch the last video, you see we got the dashboard assembly out. I think I could probably get that thing out in about an hour and a half, 2 hours if I really were to put my gumption to it right now. Now that I've known it and know what to do and what not to do, because you waste a lot of time doing shit you weren't supposed to do if like me, there was no fucking videos. In this case, there's no video. So you got to take out around about 7 bolts off of the firewall to get the suitcase off. But you got to disconnect your AC line, so prepare to evacuate your system legally and with all EPA whatever nanny states, or just drive this thing down to Mexico and do it down there where it's not illegal, I think. Disconnect your AC lines. It's a 13 millimeter nut. Make sure you replace all your seals no matter what. This is something I joke a lot of stuff, but do that. Save yourself a lot of fucking comebacks. Heater hoses. These were a couple larger sizes. I don't know what the size they were, 3/4 inch. Fittings, they were kind of shitty to do, but you know, the first one was pretty shitty. The second one was all right. So, for a change, those things on a Chevy didn't break. So, oh, damn, got the coughing. Maybe I got that fucking Secret Service disease, the COVIDs or something. I don't know. I don't think so. I never caught it yet. You got to take out your battery. Get the battery out. It's really not hard. There's a bar that goes from here to here. 3 13 millimeter bolts. One right here. One over there. One that goes horizontal into this vertical bar right here. Pull the bar out of the way. Disconnect your battery hold down right here. It's a 13 millimeter. I'm going to do that on a long extension. Now you got to get your fuse box off. To get the fuse box off, you got 2 battery terminal things. A couple 10 millimeters. Just loosen them and they slip right off. Get the fuse box panel off. You're going to have to, as you can see, disconnect up here. I think 2 of these had nuts on them. Maybe the third one had a nut on it too. I don't know if I can remember. I'm sure everything will line up when I'm done. Disconnect your little lines and flip that over. Lift the battery box out, or battery out. You got a bolt right here through this hole. You got a nut through that hole. Directly below the AC unit are 2 bolts. One right here and one there it is, the black dot right there, because the gasket for the bolt stayed on it. Firewall bolt right there. While you're down there, and take your little Dick Peters and pull the drain hose off your suitcase. Assuming you got your 2 heater hose lines off. Down there is a 10 millimeter bolt. Have your beauty cover off, you know, this thing. It should just lift up and pull out. From there, you got one right there and one right there. A couple bolts, or no, that one's a bolt, that one's a nut, and that down there was a bolt. Hopefully I'm making any fucking kind of sense. At that point in time, your suitcase is essentially free from the firewall, with the exception of a couple plugs. You got this plug right here and this plug down here. Try and orientate yourself, so this is what you're looking at. And there's a couple little hold down things in these little holes right here for the wiring harness. Yeah, just a couple of these little jobbers. You get a chance, buy yourself a set of these things. These things are freaking fantastic for pulling plugs and or these little kind of things. You just kind of grab it and pry it. You just got to make sure, because they will nip it right the fuck off. I think I bought those on Amazon for like $5 or $10 or some shit. Pull out your AC box suitcase. At that point in time, you are just about ready to get another fucking surprise. Yeah, another surprise. I think there's like 4 screws on this. I want to say there's on this bad boy, there's one in here. There is another right here. There is 3 or 4 of these goddamn things, and I forgot where they're all at. Some of these are just alignment holes. I think there might be a screw that goes in right here, but anyway, you'll see them. They are T20s, and I just used a simple T20 nut driver. or a screwdriver, whatever. Do that, and then you're like, okay, well, pop this apart. Not so fucking fast, because these fucking cunts in the great state of fucking fuckery opted instead to melt these things together. So this is melted on, and so you have to drill out every freaking one of those stupid things. So I tried doing it with just about a 1/4 inch, I think this is, drill bit, and it didn't freaking do it. But I found it was better to pre-drill with that, then follow up. I tried using a 5/16 8mm, but it was a little bit, kept wanting to split some of the plastic here, so I didn't really want to work as good. But you know, piss with the cock you got, I guess. So when it goes back together, I'm probably gonna have to pre-drill a few little holes, put some sheet metal screws in this thing to hold it back together. But why they melted it together, yeah, well, whatever. At that point in time, that's off. I've not tried pulling out the evaporator core yet. Heater core is on order. Heater core just came right out, slid right out, and that's it. Reassembly or installation is a reversal, except for with probably more cursings. You try and get this motherfucker to line up. Hope somebody learned any fucking thing from any part of this. Peace out, bitches.